I'm sure Charles Barkley probably remembers because he was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody give away somebody else's M5. So when I was in 2010, I moved to Birmingham, Alabama. My now wife and I were engaged at the time, and I was working at AT&T doing something completely not glamorous and was just looking to make some extra money for our honeymoon. And a good friend of mine, Eric Wong, who owns Intelligent Parking Systems in Birmingham, Alabama, you're welcome, Eric, said, hey, why don't you just come valet with us on the weekend? You know, we'll pay you, I don't even know what it was, 13, 14, nothing. It was no money. And so I was valeting cars at Fleming's one night, and I had been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks and had started to learn about luxury cars and sports cars. To that point, all my experience had been in NASCAR, and it's Impalas and Camaros, and they're fine, but they're not M5s. And at that point, when these guys came in, one after the next, about 5 minutes from apart from each other, they go in and eat dinner, and they both drove the same color, same model M5. I think it was a 2009. And they go in, eat dinner. Dinner at Fleming Steakhouse will take an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on how much fun you want to have while you're in there. And one of the guys comes out with his wife or whoever she was and takes off, and they've been gone about a half hour. And the next guy comes out, and we had switched the keys for the M5, and the gentleman is like, who has been smoking cigarettes in my M5? And plenty of us were degenerates for many years, but all of us knew that it was really bad business to smoke in somebody's luxury vehicle. And it was hilarious because as the guy is just literally ripping into me and ripping into my buddy Eric about we've given this car away, his wife breaks the heel of her shoe. And so he's just literally tearing into us. And what's really funny is that Charles Barkley is a regular at Fleming Steakhouse in Birmingham, super generous guy, gives everybody $20 every time he's working. Thanks, Chuck. And he literally comes out afterwards and is watching these people just absolutely just lay into us about smoking cigarettes in his car. And he's like, he finally realizes, this isn't my car at all. And then he's even more mad because he realizes that we have given his car away to somebody else, and his wife is beyond intoxicated. And so we have to wind up figuring out how to, curb this situation so we don't ruin Fleming's patronage for the rest of the evening. And so we just apologize, and it's like, sir, we will give you both $250 gift cards, and we'll take you home, and we're really sorry. And so there's no valet in the history of the world that has ever sat here outside of Vegas and made $300 or $400 a night. So it took me 5 or 6 shifts to get to a place where I was like, I had rectified this sin of giving away the wrong vehicle and had embarrassed myself. I'm sure Charles Barkley probably remembers because he was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody give away somebody else's M5. But it happens. I valeted for years. Some of my best stories come from it. But it was where I really learned to appreciate cars like watches are art. And it's an acquired thing. And so there are the people in this world that like Honda Civics and I understand because candidly I'm one of them. But when I drive down the road now and I see somebody's M5 and one of my really good customers today drives one, like he loves for me to tell that story to people. I've done nothing in my life literally that had as big of a downside, and I was literally making $75 a night, and to do something that dumb was it took for a while to recover from. But I definitely I learned a lot in the process of valeting. You learned how the other half lives, and you learn what they're looking for. And, one day I'll get there.
If you like that story, it's time to make one of your own. Extreme Experience puts you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks coast to coast with no speed limits, no shipping restrictions, and no governors. Head to the link to choose your supercar, find a racetrack near you, and start making a story of your own. Extreme Experience. It's your turn.